The World Cup is broken. Not the sport, not the teams, the format. For 36 years, the same structure. 32 teams, 8 groups, clean bracket. Everyone understood it. FIFA just threw all of that out. 48 teams, 12 groups. A brand new round nobody asked for, and a rule that lets teams finish third and still advance. Most people have no idea how any of this works. And in 2026, when the biggest World Cup in history lands on American soil, that confusion is going to cost you the entire experience. So here's everything. The full 2026 format, broken down so clearly that by the end of this, you'll understand it better than people who've watched football their entire lives. And stay with me, because there's one rule buried inside this new format that could single-handedly produce the greatest upset in World Cup history. We'll get to exactly what it is. Let's start with the number that changes everything. 48. That's how many teams are playing in 2026, up from 32 in every World Cup since 1998. That's not a small adjustment. That's a 50% increase in teams. And it cascades into every single part of the tournament. Here's what most people don't realize. FIFA didn't just add 16 teams and call it a day. They had to redesign the entire structure from scratch. Because you can't fit 48 teams into a format built for 32. Think about it like the NFL. Imagine the league suddenly added 16 new franchises overnight. You couldn't just run the same playoff system. You'd need new divisions, new wildcard rules, a completely different bracket. That's exactly what happened here. And the solution FIFA came up with is genuinely clever, but also genuinely confusing if nobody walks you through it. So let's walk through it. The group stage, nobody fully understands. 48 teams, divided into 12 groups. 4 teams per group. Every team plays 3 matches within their group. Win earns 3 points. Draw earns 1. Loss earns 0. After those 3 matches, the top 2 teams from each group advance automatically. 12 groups. Top 2 from each. That's 24 teams through. Simple enough. But here's where it gets complicated. 24 teams isn't enough for a clean knockout bracket. You need 32 for that. So FIFA needed 8 more teams. Their solution? The best 8 third-place finishers across all 12 groups also advance. Read that again. Third place, still alive. Most people hear this and think that sounds like it makes third place meaningless. Actually, it does the opposite. It makes every single point in every single group match matter more than ever before. Because here's the math. 12 groups produce 12 third-place teams. Only 8 of those 12 go through, so 4 third-place teams go home. That means finishing third doesn't guarantee anything. You have to finish third well. Strong goal difference, goals scored, clean disciplinary record. It's like the NBA play-in tournament. You make it into the play-in, but you're not guaranteed a playoff spot. You still have to perform. You still have something to fight for. In football terms, a team could win their first group game, lose the second, and enter the third match knowing they need a win and a cricket score to survive on goal difference. That is pressure. And that pressure produces football moments that nobody forgets. Here's the counterintuitive truth about this rule. The teams it helps most aren't the small nations. It's actually mid-tier teams. Teams like the US, Mexico, Senegal, Iran, who are good enough to beat one top opponent, but might stumble against another. Under the old format, one bad result could end your World Cup. Under the new format, you have a mathematical lifeline, and that changes how managers set up their teams. More risk, more attacking intent, more goals, more drama. The new round that changes everything. Once the group stage ends, 32 teams remain. And this is where the 2026 format introduces something the World Cup has never had before, the round of 32. In every previous World Cup, the first knockout round was the round of 16. 16 teams, 8 matches. Simple. In 2026, before you even get to the round of 16, there's an entire extra round. 32 teams, 16 matches, all knockout, all single elimination. Lose here and your World Cup is finished. After all the qualifying, all the group stage matches, one bad day and you're on a plane home. Think about what this means emotionally. A team from an African nation that has never reached this stage before. They've won their group. They've made it further than any team from their country in history. And now they walk out for the round of 32, knowing one mistake ends everything. That tension is what makes football the most watched sport on earth. And the round of 32 creates 16 brand new moments of it. Here's a stat that puts this in perspective. The entire 2022 World Cup, from first group game to the final, had 64 matches. The 2026 World Cup will have 104 matches, 104 games, in 39 days, across 16 cities in 3 countries. That is not a tournament, that is an event. The bracket and why it matters. After the round of 32, the format becomes straightforward knockout football. 16 teams enter the round of 16. 8 advance to the quarterfinals. 4 reach the semi-finals. 2 play the final. The final is scheduled for July 19th, 2026, MetLife Stadium, New Jersey, just outside New York City. 82,000 seats. The same stadium where the Giants and Jets play, hosting the most watched sporting event in human history. Now here's something about the bracket that most coverage glosses over, and it matters a lot for understanding who plays who. The bracket seeding is based on group performance. Group winners are seeded highest, runners-up next. Then the 8 third-place qualifiers are slotted into the bracket based on which groups they came from. What this means in practice: a group winner from a weaker group might face a runner-up from a stronger group earlier than expected. The bracket isn't perfectly balanced by team quality, it's balanced by group position. And that produces the most dangerous situation in tournament football. A sleeping giant meets an underdog on a good run at exactly the wrong moment. Most people don't realize this is how major upsets happen. It's not random, it's structural. The format creates them, the rule buried inside the new format, and why it could change history. Remember at the start I mentioned one rule that could produce the greatest upset in World Cup history. Here it is. Because 8 third-place teams advance, and because those teams are slotted into specific bracket positions based on which groups they came from, it's entirely possible for a third-place team to face a group winner from one of the weakest groups in the round of 32. Meaning, a team that nearly went home in the group stage could end up facing a relatively weak opponent in the first knockout round, while a dominant group winner faces a dangerous runner-up. The bracket can be more favourable for a third-place team than for some group winners. In any other sport, that would be considered a flaw. In football, it's a feature, because football is the only sport where that third-place team, riding momentum, playing with nothing to lose, can beat anyone on any given day. Saudi Arabia beat Argentina in 2022. They weren't supposed to. The format that year didn't even give them a path to go far. In 2026, a team like that doesn't just get a shock win. They could make a run. That's the hidden explosive inside this new format, and nobody is talking about it enough. The host cities, why 3 countries creates a problem nobody wants to admit. 11 cities in the United States, 2 in Canada, 3 in Mexico, New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, Miami, Seattle, San Francisco, Kansas City, Philadelphia, Houston, Atlanta, Boston, Vancouver, Toronto, Mexico City, Guadalajara, Monterrey. This has never happened before. A World Cup across 3 nations simultaneously. And it creates a logistical challenge that FIFA has been very quiet about. Teams could play group matches thousands of miles apart. A game in Vancouver followed by a game in Miami. That's nearly 3,500 miles. For a squad that just played a 90-minute match 3 days ago. For the elite nations with full medical staffs, private jets, and sports science teams, manageable. For a smaller nation with limited resources, traveling internationally for the first time at this scale, genuinely difficult. And here's the counterintuitive part. The nations with fewer resources are exactly the ones the expanded format was designed to help. The very thing meant to create more opportunity might disadvantage those same teams physically. Nobody knows how this plays out until it actually happens, but it's the most underreported story going into 2026. What the US actually has to do to win this thing. Let's be direct. Can the United States win the 2026 World Cup? To win, they need to win 8 matches against the best football nations on earth, on home soil. The squad is the most talented in American history. Christian Pulisic plays for AC Milan. Weston McKennie plays for Juventus. Gio Reyna, Falirin Balogun, Tyler Adams, real players at real clubs, winning real trophies. Home advantage is statistically significant at World Cups. Host nations overperform their FIFA ranking by an average of 4 to 5 positions. In a 48-team field where more upsets are structurally likely, that could be decisive. The realistic ceiling for this US squad: quarterfinals. Maybe semi-finals if the bracket falls right and the momentum builds. The dream ceiling, the final, on American soil, in front of 82,000 people at MetLife Stadium.
Massive.
It's not probable, but it's not impossible. And in 2026, under this format, impossible is a smaller word than it used to be. The entire format in 60 seconds. 48 teams, 12 groups of 4, every team plays 3 matches. Top 2 from each group advance, 24 teams. Best 8 third-place finishers also advance, 32 teams total. Round of 32, 16 matches. Single elimination. Win or go home. Round of 16, 8 matches. Quarterfinals, 4 matches. Semi-finals, 2 matches. Third-place playoff, 1 match. Final, July 19th, 2026. MetLife Stadium, New Jersey. 104 total matches. 39 days. 3 countries. The biggest tournament in the history of the sport. Football has always been the world's game. 2026 is the year America finds out why. Every nation, every story, every upset, every moment of brilliance and heartbreak, and history. All of it happening right here. You now understand the format better than most people watching. You'll know why that third-place team is still alive. You'll know why the bracket seeding matters. You'll know what's at stake in every single match. Here's the thought that should stay